One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Originals report he paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Somehow, some way, we all made it into Friday morning. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to wherever the hell you guys are in the world, man. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. You guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you guys decided to be right here with me, man. I'm very honored by that. Ladies and gentlemen, today's a big day. As you guys see, we have it labeled today. Trump meets Putin in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska. And then we have DC Takeover. We have some updates regarding that and the National Guard presence there, as well as ICE was evacuated. They found some sort of like white substance or whatever. They were like worried that it was, I don't know if it was explosive or drug related. We're going to get into all of that. Now, obviously, I can't fit every story onto the title. So we're going to go into National Guard first, then Depot over there in Florida. Governor DeSantis had unveils plans for immigration detention facility, as well as today we're going to be getting into the Trump ordeal and the meeting in Alaska with Putin. Then woman says USPS lost her mother's remains, and that's a short little update, or not update, I guess, but story. And then we have the tropical storm Erin nears hurricane strength, and that's over there towards Florida. And we'll definitely be speaking more about that, so you guys are up to date with that. And as well as CHP officers pull pursuit suspect from care after chase. I'm not really sure what the hell that means, but we're going to get into that. That's over there in California. So it's going to be definitely interesting nonetheless. Before we get into all of it, though, make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. And hitting that subscribe button is also free if you guys are new here, man. I'd really appreciate it. Please consider becoming a member, though, starting at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is the way that we get to speak. And we, unfortunately, YouTube advertisement doesn't pay jack shit anymore. It used to be something decent back before I started YouTube. That was like the moneymaker. Now, that's very much a hard thing to pull off. So we're 100% funded by you guys in all reality. So thank you guys for becoming members, man. Thank you to the Breakfast Club. And staying members, too. You know what I mean? Little side note, follow my Instagram right here, at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, and breaking news. A whole bunch of great shit over there. Make sure you guys follow me over there. We have a Discord link that's in the description box down below of every single video, so make sure you guys join up on that as well. Last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted membership signups, all these things are going to be presented live onto the show and shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have all of these platforms that you guys can send money to. And of course, I will read out your message as well as your guys's, I'll shout you out. So I've got it up right here so I don't miss anything. So if anything comes through, I got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, great to see everybody up in the building. We got Brother Steve Easy. We got Charles up at the building as well, man. We got Brother Frank as well. We got Charles Darwin from down there I gotta always say it. It's down there in Australia. We got STMC Prez. What's good, man? We got Rabbit of Chaos as well. Good morning to you. We got Monobomb as well. Good morning and happy Friday to all. We got Wildcard up in here as well as Liquored Up Poncho with Poncho. Appreciate you hanging out with us. America Uncensored. Great to see you. Hopefully you're all enjoying your morning. We got Brother Beezer up in here as well. Good morning, good morning. Where's Lucy? I don't know. When Dad starts speaking, she probably is like, fuck this. I'm gonna go sleep this off. I don't know. She's probably under the couch at this point. Yeah, I don't see her up here. Yep. Anyways. Hopefully everyone's doing good, man. Great to see everyone here. Thank you guys for being here. That's right, bro. Baba Renegade, great to see you, by the way. Good morning, good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into this. National Guard, we're going to start this up. Deploys in D.C. amid Trump administration's pledge to crack down on crime. Now, as I told you guys yesterday, they were out there actively deployed. And so this is the update since then.
There's a lot of tentacles to this story here. Let's tease them out with our friend there, Burn Law Enforcement, Josh Sherrard. He joins me. Josh, good to see you. I know you've been following the story.
Real quick, before we do, I forgot. I got to give a shout out. We got Pumper. Before we had even started, man, before we had even started the show, he sent in the $5 super chat or super sticker. I really appreciate that, kind sir. It helps out the show immensely. So thank you for that. Making it rain over here with his coins and shit. All right.
Appreciate quite heavily that. Here. Let's start, though, with the National Guard. We actually have a live picture there. This is outside Union Station, right in the heart of D.C. What do you see in this shot right here, Josh?
Yeah, so we've got, traditionally what's called an MRAP, which is an armored vehicle parked there in front of the building. And, this is really kind of indicative of what the National Guard has really been.
What's up, Rob's neighbor? Great to see you, by the way.
Employed to do. When we first heard that they were going to be out there, we really weren't sure what their role was going to be. The DC National Guard is in a very unique spot as opposed to some of the other military forces. So Posse Comitatus doesn't allow federal military to be used in law enforcement functions. So traditionally, your Army, Navy, Marine Corps, all that, they cannot be used as law enforcement. Now, normally
we know that, and yes, National Guard cannot arrest people, but what they can do is they can absolutely sit there and stand by for the Insurrection Act, essentially, and then they can, if that's put in place by Trump or, I guess by Trump, then, the National Guard can have arresting powers. But until then, they're on standby and they sit there and guard the governmental structures and buildings and stuff like that.
Guard would take that role for the states because they work for the governor. But DC is the only district where the National Guard is controlled by a federal entity already. So now you have a federal hand that's allowing these soldiers to do law enforcement work. So they're fully vested and fully able to perform law enforcement functions. But what we've seen over the past 3 days is a little bit of a dialing back from that. Really, they are just performing security functions, static post.
What's up, Mount High? Good morning. And thank God it's Friday, right, dude?
Functions in federal property, just like we saw in Los Angeles. So really not quite the flex we thought we were going to see, which I think, in all honesty, at this point in time is needed. Now, that role could change very quickly if needed, but having them there to protect those federal properties allows those normal gun toters, those guys with guns and badges, guys and girls with guns and badges, to go out there and really do the heavy lifting on the law enforcement work.
I think it's important to make the distinction. National Guard troops, Josh, can they arrest and detain anyone or no?
So technically, yes. So because these National Guard troops, once again, don't fall under Posse Comitatus.
Yeah. We know, Charles. It's Saturday morning for you. It's like 1 a.m. for you. We get it, motherfucker.
They have law enforcement function. They can do traffic checkpoints. They can do crowd control. They can do riot response. And they do have the power to detain and arrest on a temporary basis. So what does that look like practically? They could, if they, on view, what we call on view, if they see somebody violating a law, they can go put hands on them, detain them, keep them there while, an actual badged law enforcement officer, be it federal or state or city, gets over there to continue that arrest. But they do have that power. Now, once again, I don't think that they're exercising it or their mission is to exercise it at this particular point, but always that could change.
Okay, so Josh, we're looking at Union Station. This is in the heart of the nation's capital. We've seen them near the National Mall, near the monuments. Are they deployed to where they need to be, to high crime neighborhoods and parts of the district? Are they being used as effectively as they can?
I think what we're seeing, in all honesty, and mind you, this is speculation, but having done the job for over 2 decades now, if it was me, I would try to hold them in reserve as long as I can. Look, we know that their presence is very, is just throwing fuel on a fire to a lot of DC residents and a lot of people around the country.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I'm definitely someone that does not agree that we need to be a police state. But this isn't really fueling fuel on the fire. Just leave it alone. You just don't go out there trying to make a fucking asshole of yourself. Don't do that. You're going to get yourself fucked up. Don't do that. I'm not really sure why it's the end of the world with them being there for 30 days or whatever. Not that I agree with them being there in the first place, but guess what? It doesn't need to affect my whole, oh my God. It doesn't have to ruin. Like, I'd just be like, yeah, I guess I'm going to fucking not be around those cocksuckers for 30 days. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Going viral, this video put out by FBI Director Kash Patel. This presumably DC resident throwing a Subway sandwich at one of these officers.
He threw a Subway sandwich. Why? Why would you do that? You're a fucking moron. People and their emotions, bro. I swear to God, dude, it's fucked.
Emotional damage.
Throwing Subway sandwiches at an officer. Now you assaulted an officer. Why would you do that? Like, I know it's funny, but he did that probably out of emotional rage. Had to throw a fucking, fuck you. Let's watch it again.
This is going viral, this video put out by FBI Director Kash Patel. This presumably DC resident throwing a Subway sandwich at one of these officers.
This shit is way too funny, bro. Way too funny. Real quick, we got Bree Rodriguez coming in, dropping it like it's hot with the $9.99. Thank you so much. Saying, have a great stream. Much respect. Thank you, Bree. Thank you for that, by the way. Making it rain over here. I see you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. It helps out the show immensely and goes towards a goal, of course.
Then taking chase, he was later apprehended. Come to find out, this is now former trial attorney at the Department of Justice. What's he facing, you think? Throwing a sandwich at one of these law enforcement officers and then running away?
No way, Rob.
What penalty does that bring? Do you know?
Well, I don't know if there's a specific statute for assault with a deadly weapon, but right now they are charging him federally with assault on a peace officer. So federally, this carries a charge of up to 8 years in prison because it is a felony. But as much as we make light and a joke out of this, this is a very, very indicative crime of what they're there to do, of what the Trump administration is asking law enforcement to do. Mind you, is this minor? Possibly. Could this incite something more major? Absolutely. Is arresting.
Real quick, we got Brother Beezer Geezer up in the building. Shout out to my man. And we got Sick Bastard as well. Great to see you guys. Good morning. Steve Posey, my man, as well. Good morning to you. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, man. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying your Friday and stoked that it's Friday.
Him a message, you betcha. It allows everybody to know. It's telling everybody, hey, these are the kinds of things we're not going to let slide anymore. This is the kind of stuff that we have to do to secure this district and make it safer, whether it's a crime like this or whether it's something more major, more assaultive, that's directed towards the public. But people have to understand that at this point, at least for the next 30 days, that there's going to be a very, very different environment.
Dude, that sandwich was like probably anywhere from 15 to 20 bucks. What a waste of money, bro. I would take the sandwich. Don't throw it at me, though. I would rather have the sandwich. Now it's ruined. It's ruined. I'm not going to pick it up and eat it. No, that's crazy. Wasted a sandwich.
When it comes to how crimes are arrested and prosecuted in the district. I mean, you heard Judge Janine. She is holding no quarter for anyone that's going to commit crimes, be they with a deli sandwich, a weapon, or anything else in the district, especially for the next 30 days. So
a deli sandwich. All right, so I don't need to see any more of that. Let's see if we have any updated things here. No, that's just DHS. All right, there is no other updates on that. We're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to get into Deport Depot. We're going to be talking about over there in Florida. DeSantis had a speech of some sort, like a press conference or something like that. So we're about to get into that. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into it. Bam.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. So it's not Alligator Alcatraz, it's Deportation Depot. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' administration is preparing to open a second immigration detention facility at a state prison as a federal judge decides the fate of the state's holding center.
What's up, Gary? Great to see you, by the way. Good morning.
For immigrants there
Happy
at
Friday.
that isolated airstrip now known as Alligator Alcatraz. Well, our colleague, Fox's Stephanie Buffamonte, with more details.
From day one, Governor DeSantis has said a clear message, and that is illegal immigration has no place in the state of Florida. Today, the state of Florida, through the collaboration of state and private partners, many of those behind me today, are proud to announce our second illegal immigration detention
Good point, Liquored Up.
facility, also known as the Deportation Depot.
The Baker Correctional Institution in North Florida will soon be home to the new Deportation Depot. The facility will be able to house more than 1,300 detainees while the undocumented immigrants wait to be deported. The governor says the National Guard will staff Deportation Depot. DeSantis said the state needs more capacity to hold undocumented immigrants in addition to Alligator Alcatraz.
This will meet a very critical need to have even more space than what we have at Alligator Alcatraz. And I think that's it just shows our guys are really working hard with the
More space, the better.
DHS, and they're getting the job done and protecting people in their communities.
The Immigration Detention Center will cost about $6 million. The governor claims the cost for the facility will be reimbursed through
Wait, $6 million originally up front, or what?
federal partners. State Representative Anna Eskamani weighing in.
This approach is dangerous. This approach hurts our
Dangerous.
economy. It hurts
Our economy. It hurts our economy. $6 million is what you're worried about, bruh? How about $6 billion that goes overseas? How about hundreds and hundreds, all to trillions of dollars leaving our country, and you're worried about $6 million? Like, I can't with these people. I just can't.
communities, and it's a huge cost to the taxpayer. And if we really want to make our
What's
communities
up, Biker Babe? Great to see you, by the way. Thank God it's Friday, right? Great to see you, by the way. Good morning.
safer, then a targeted approach that goes after individuals that are dangerous would be a much better investment of our money and of our time.
Eskamani has testified in a lawsuit that aims to shut down Alligator Alcatraz and says she wasn't surprised by this announcement.
I'm expecting that this really is also a backup plan because the judge is going to issue a decision soon on the Everglades that really could lead to its complete closure, at least temporarily. And the state needed an option to relocate individuals that are currently being housed there.
Governor DeSantis said that the
That's valid. That's valid, Charles. I want to see her papers.
facility would be operational soon, but did not give an exact date. Stephanie Buffamonte, Fox 35 News.
She's a voter, Charles. We got
Stephanie,
Miss
thanks so
Lotus
much.
over there in Florida. Great to see you, by the way. Good morning and happy Friday.
So out live there over Jacksonville, Florida. So this is at the Baker Correctional Institution. It's about 43 miles west of downtown Jacksonville. It's expected to hold 1,300 immigration detention beds, though that capacity could be expanded to 2,000, according to state officials. Florida Governor DeSantis taking questions from reporters after this announcement today.
Facility's not being used right now for the state prisoners. It just gives us an ability to go in, stand it up quickly, stand it up cheaply, and then ultimately have something that could be 1,300. It could be more than that. I mean, as Kevin said, we can build out more from there if need be, and we won't hesitate to do it. The reality is although Blanding does have some air access, we were not going to be able to run the big flights out of that airstrip. We were going to have to go to Cecil Field anyways. And so here you got Lake City Airport, 15 minutes down the road, and I think it's very, very convenient. Not as convenient as Alligator Alcatraz, where it's literally just one big facility, but about as close as we can get. So I think that this is going to be value added. There is a demand for this. As I said, I didn't want to set up something and then have like 30 people here. I want to make sure there. I'm confident that it will be filled, and I'm confident that DHS is really stepping up to do the removal operations and to get the flights going.
One of the reasons this facility was originally
We don't need to go into depth of the history of the facility and all that bullshit, but we do have the facts there. We're going to go ahead and move on into the next ordeal regarding Trump and Putin meeting up today. This is one of the biggest topics of today. I don't care what anybody says. This is absolutely the big news. So this is our latest as of right now, and of course I will be giving you guys updates. I don't know exactly what time they're supposed to be meeting and then doing a press conference. I will try to cover the press conference depending on what time it is. I am going to try to be live again today for the press conference and the press conference only. So anyways,
Good morning, and thank you so much for waking up with us here on Live Now from Fox. We made it to Friday, you all. It's August 15th. I'll be here for the next few hours to give you all of your breaking news alerts, top stories, and, of course, your live events of the day.
Yes, we need the likes to come up, you guys. Hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. Wildcard, I very much appreciate that.
And it's no surprise we do begin this Friday morning with the very latest of the Trump presidency. Of course, all eyes are on the very latest of President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. We have them side by side on your screen. As the world's eyes are locked on Alaska, where Presidents Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin will meet face to face today, they are expected to discuss the war in Ukraine. President Trump.
What's up, Jason? Great to see you. And says, remember to smash that thumbs up. Yes, sir. Very much appreciate that. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. TGIF.
Trump is remaining positive heading into the summit, but as Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, he's also trying to manage everyone's expectations.
A glimmer of hope on the war front Thursday.
Gator don't play no shit.
As Ukraine and Russia each release 84 prisoners of war. President Trump is hoping this won't be the only deal they make this week, but he's keeping his expectations in check ahead of his sit-down with Russia's Vladimir Putin.
Tomorrow, all I want to do is set the table for the next meeting. We're going to find out where everybody stands, and I'll know within the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
If things don't go well, Trump says Russia will face severe consequences. But when meeting with Russian officials today, Putin seemed optimistic.
The current American administration is making, in my opinion, quite energetic and sincere efforts to
Hold on, I'm going to bring up this as well.
Stop the hostilities, stop the crisis, and reach agreements that are of interest to all parties involved in this conflict in order to create long-term conditions of peace.
But Ukrainian...
Wow, that was really... I'm going to replay that. So this was just, I don't know if this was yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I don't know. But this is the first time I'm seeing this. So he's obviously speaking in Russian, but they translate it.
In my opinion.
So he actually had nothing bad to say there. It sounded actually pretty decent.
Putin seemed optimistic.
The current American administration is making, in my opinion, quite energetic and sincere efforts to stop the hostilities, stop the crisis, and reach agreements that are of interest to all parties involved in this conflict in order to create long-term conditions of peace.
But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warns Putin can't be trusted. He will not be in Alaska Friday and will be waiting for a call from Trump to hear how things went.
So Zelensky is betting money that Putin will not, well, not actually betting money, but he's betting on it, saying, I'll be waiting for Trump to call me when Putin doesn't show up in Alaska, and you're just sitting there holding the bag, essentially. You know what I mean? Real quick, Jason, my man, says, so Mike, what is the difference between your live shows and Hollywood's with the damn commercials? The difference is he didn't know. I got off the phone with him, obviously, after the show, and explained it. But when you have, I'll actually show you. Like, I'll actually show this. Let me go ahead and bring this up so I can explain it a little bit better. So as content creators, here's all my previous shows. Do you see how there's money signs on these? It says this video is being monetized. This video is being monetized. Then you've got yellow that's limited, where they basically throttle the fuck out of you. Each dollar is now turned into like 1 penny. On the advertisements. This is only for advertisements, by the way. It's not for your super chats. It's not for your fucking memberships, all that shit. Some YouTubers think it is. But nonetheless, if you have this on before your show, the monetization, if you have this on, it will give you ads during the live stream. So that's the difference. You have to have it off during your actual live. Like, let me refresh it because this is showing as upcoming. We're live now. You'll see that it'll still show. See, I'm live right now. It shows it now, but the monetization is still off. But you guys can still super chat and gift memberships and become members and all that. So anyways, that's the difference, is having that on or off. So anyways, let's go ahead and get back into the ordeal. Sorry for the side note there, ladies and gentlemen, but a little explaining there to do.
I won't be shocked if we see some surprise tomorrow that he throws a wrinkle in, but I think President Trump's pretty straightforward on this. You need to end this. You need to get a ceasefire, wrap it up.
If Putin is serious about a ceasefire and ready to sit down with Zelensky, President Trump says he already has 3 locations in mind for the next meeting. At the White House, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Fox News.
Rebecca, thank you so much for that detailed report and a lot to discuss this Friday. So we want to bring into the conversation.
This guy again, Rubino, I mean, man, this guy, he's good. He's pretty spot on, but the way he talks, man, is a little brutal. He's got a little bit of a lisp.
None other than political analyst Rich Rubino. Happy Friday, Rich. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Happy Friday.
So, Rich, a lot of eyes on Alaska on this Friday, as we did mention. U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin expected to have those highly anticipated discussions as it relates to the war in Ukraine. Set this up for us. Explain why this is so important.
Yes, it's very important. And basically, this is going to be a bilateral meeting between Presidents Putin and President Trump. President Zelensky will not be there. This will not be a tripartite meeting. It will just be a bilateral meeting, if you will. And this is, at least if you listen to Donald Trump, this is where he's going to use it basically as a feeler to see whether or not President Putin wants peace and what the negotiating terms essentially are going to be in terms of with Vladimir Putin, kind of what he wants. And then he'll call up President Zelensky and inform him kind of how the meeting went. It's interesting. Vladimir Putin, basically, I think that he has certain things that he wants there to be concessions on the part of.
Damn. Miss Lotus says she works for unemployment and $275 a week maximum. What? Are you talking about money or are you talking about people? $275 a week. That doesn't do anything. Dude, I shit $275 a week. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, dude?
The Ukrainians in return for the end of the war.
That's rough.
He wants 5 regions that that the Russia currently.
That's money? What are you going to do with $275 a week? Bro, that's ridiculous.
Holds, like the Crimea, for example. He wants Ukraine to declare that they are part of Russia. He also wants Ukraine to be neutral, and he wants the Ukrainians to give up any sort of hopes that they will join NATO. And that's really, I think, kind of the
what? Max 3,300 a year. Oh my God. What in the fuck?
The defining issue of this whole thing is that I think that Russia fears that NATO continues to increase and increase and increase. He wants to contain it, and he views Ukraine as basically as the first country that he will not accept. The Russians will say that this country will not be a part of NATO, and that's really what I think this is really kind of about.
Absolutely. And one thing we love about you, Rich, is you're able to provide that historical context. Now, let's look back to the campaign trail when.
Yeah, I almost said that, Steve. I almost said that.
President Donald Trump, at the time, he was campaigning against Kamala Harris, but he said, hey, if I was the commander in chief, we wouldn't even be this far into the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Well, now it's ahead. We've seen Vladimir Putin come to the White House, and it seems like the conversations with President Trump and Vladimir Putin, those first discussions when he got back to the Oval Office, were much more positive compared to Ukrainian president's discussions. Volodymyr Zelensky, some people say those first.
That's actually a lot better, Charles, than here then. At least, I mean, unemployment is it federal? Or is it state? I think unemployment is federal, huh?
Discussions were a little tense. Let's talk about those relationships with the U.S. and Russia and the U.S. and Ukraine and what today symbolizes.
Yes, and so the Cold War, obviously, there were a lot of tension between the United States and Russia. The United States worked to form the Warsaw Pact, which was rather NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which was essentially a litany of countries that agreed that if they were that came together and agreed that if they were attacked by an external power, all those countries would come and they would protect that country. Russia started the Warsaw Pact. There were a lot of Russian satellites, Russian satellite countries. When the Soviet Union came to a screeching halt back in 1991 and the Cold War was over, there were some that.
That's a very, very valid point, Steve Easy. Social Security, the world's largest Ponzi scheme. Yeah, no kidding.
Believe that perhaps maybe the United States, if maybe that NATO should be disbanded because it no longer serves a purpose. There was some talk potentially, what if the United States were to continue NATO but invite Russia into NATO? They didn't do that, but essentially James Baker, the Secretary of State in the first George H. Bush, that is administration in 1991, met with Gorbachev and supposedly made him a tacit promise that they would not continue to expand NATO eastward. Then a couple years.
But then NATO did expand, and then hence why the fucking war started.
We've seen
Putin says, I don't want NATO on my borders. Then NATO gets on their borders. What the fuck do you expect? He said, I'm going to fuck you guys up if you do this. And then Zelensky does that and is like shocked that there was some sort of retaliation for that. just a terrible ordeal over there. I fucking hate both of them. I hate both of them. I hate both Russia and Ukraine. I hate both of them. All right, let's go ahead and get into the next ordeal here. Woman says USPS lost her mother's remains.
6:50 here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Our next story takes us out to the Peach State of Georgia, giving you a beautiful skyline shot there in downtown Atlanta. This as a Metro Atlanta woman says she's worried her late mother's remains are lost.
Real quick, we got David up at the building. Great to see you, by the way. Good morning, kind sir. Always appreciate you hanging out with us. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday morning so far.
In another state, after she's been waiting on the United States Postal Service to deliver them for more than a month. This comes as the agency has been dealing with delays and shortages over the last year. We want to check in now with Fox 5 Atlanta's Lindsay Tuman. She has the latest details with how this happened. Lindsay, good morning.
Good morning to you. And the United States Postal Service is the only authorized carrier for shipping cremated remains. So this was her only option for getting her late mother's remains from Germany to her home here in Georgia. But now she's worried she'll never know her mother's final resting place as the package has been lost for weeks.
It's absolutely horrible. It's heartbreaking. This is my mom. It's not an item from Amazon.
That's the whole thing that I was getting down with, Papa Penguin. And that's right. To be fair, Putin probably would have found another reason, true, continuing to push NATO towards his borders, just handed him an excuse on a platter. Exactly. And he's going to take that and run with it. We see other countries taking things and running with it and using it as excuses to fuck up their own country and or other countries as well. It's definitely brutal.
T-shirt. It's disrespectful of the Postal Service to treat human remains like that. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Checking the mail has added to Petra McDermott's grief every day since her mother passed away in May. Her parents live in Germany. Her mother was cremated, and the family sent the remains back to her in Carrollton.
I had no choice but have my mother's ashes sent by mail. I couldn't go over to Germany and just pick them up and bring them in an airplane.
From Germany, they were sent by DHL, which then transferred the package off to the United States Postal Service.
So it came all the way from Germany.
That's when McDermott started noticing issues. The tracking information shows it arriving in Florida, then heading to several other states. It came to Cartersville, but was then shipped away again.
My mother was somewhere in Indiana, and nobody knew. It shows in transit.
McDermott reached out to the agency, and one employee sent her the labels showing the package. Another email from someone in D.C. says the label was not clear, and
that wouldn't be considered harassment, would it?
corrected the mailing address. But McDermott wants to know why that wasn't done to begin with.
That is completely 100% on the United States Postal Service.
Be good out there, Brother Beezer. We'll always appreciate you hanging out with us, by the way.
There is a flaw in their system.
Be safe
they
out
need
there.
to fix it. Show some compassion. And I'm just afraid that the box with my mom's remains is lost forever. And I will not receive that.
She went to the news for this shit. Shit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get a little bit into the weather. Specifically in Florida, I believe. Tropical storm Erin nears hurricane strength. Man, all right, let's go ahead and bring
Welcome
this
back
up.
to Live Now from Fox, giving you a live look at our XRAD system as we continue to follow.
So it's not just Florida. Look at the curvature of this. If it does push and have more strength, it can be pushed into Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, all of that
The
shit.
very latest tropical storm Erin on the cusp of strengthening into a hurricane, which it is expected to become later today as it bears down on the northern Caribbean islands. A lot to discuss, so we want to bring into the conversation.
What's up, Brother Carney? Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you.
The expert, none other
As
than
well,
the National
Christopher
Hurricane Center
Cullen.
Deputy Director, Jamie Roan. Jamie, always a pleasure to have you join the show. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having us today.
A pleasure to have
Oh,
you. So,
shit.
Jamie, I see the system there on the screen beside you. A lot of concern. Will this develop into a hurricane? What will be the impacts? Break it down for us, please.
Yeah. Tropical Storm Erin is still out here over the sort of central Atlantic, if you will, and it's going to approach and move north of the northern Leeward Islands over the weekend and strengthen into a hurricane as it does so.
Yeah, it's like a snowball effect. It just gets worse and worse and worse before it gets better.
Now, it's
Jesus.
going to move just north of the Leeward Islands, sort of sparing them from the worst impacts, but that doesn't mean no impacts. They're still going to get some of the peripheral winds and more importantly,
I'm
heavy
sorry, cuh. I'm just reporting exactly what the fuck they're talking about here. Shit.
rains and the potential for flooding. Also, a lot of rip current risk along the north shore of Puerto Rico. Thereafter, it turns more towards the north, moves into the western Atlantic, and really strengthens possibly into a major hurricane by the time it gets over here on
Hopefully
the western
not.
Atlantic. But for now, it's looking like it's going to pass well east of Florida, sparing them the core impacts. But what people don't realize in a case like this, and this is really tricky and catches a lot of people off guard, is this will be a huge rip current risk all along the east coast of the United States later this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, rip currents, by the way, is when you're getting pulled out to, you know, you'll feel like you're getting pulled out to sea. You're like, whoa, I'm just getting pulled out. And people have died from rip currents for sure. All right, back to this.
And into next week. And that's really what we're trying to drive home. Is
Good morning, 13. Great to see you, by the way.
When you talk about the risk, providing a live look out in Tortola, the British Virgin Islands, that's also a concern out along that area, the rip currents, the ramifications of the system. When is the time to prepare? What do people need to do?
Well, hopefully people along the east coast of Florida prepared before the start of hurricane season. Now, the reality is probably some people dragged their feet and didn't.
What's up, Lappy? Good morning, too.
Not. And this is Mother Nature giving you a warning shot that hurricane season, the peak of hurricane season, is now upon us. And so if I were a Florida resident or anybody along the east coast of the United States, I would use this weekend to go ahead and finish whatever hurricane preparedness activities you need to do, stock up on hurricane supplies, make sure everything is where you need it.
Wow. I mean, they're actively saying, listen, you may want to like stock up on your shit while you got time right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we talk about preparedness all the time. So make sure you guys have the proper shit just in case it happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying just in case.
Because the next storm might not play out.
Papa D? Good morning.
Jamie, always a pleasure to have you on the show. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, since we are following storms, you talk about it being the highlight of hurricane season now that we are in August. Other systems brewing there along the waterways. I know some of those that live in the Texas area, the Lone Star State, they are concerned about a system brewing there. Could you share the latest for that storm?
Yeah, I mean, this is the time of year where we're tracking multiple systems, anywhere, sometimes 2, 3, 4 systems. And we do have another system here in the Western Gulf. Right now, the chances of it becoming a tropical system, meaning acquiring sort of a name, if you will, are 50-50. So 50-50 chance.
Wow. They're calling it a 50-50 chance for this shit over there in Texas. What? Wow. Real quick, we got Tiffany Lance up in the building as well. Great to see you. Hopefully, Brother Lee is doing well as well.
Of it becoming a tropical system. But regardless of whether it develops to a tropical system, it's going to move into the southern portions of Texas in the next day or so, possibly spreading some locally heavy rains and the potential for flooding into southern Texas.
But do you have enough alcohol, Brother Steve? That's what matters, right?
National Hurricane Center Deputy Director Jamie Rome. Always a pleasure to talk weather with you here on Live Now from Fox. I know you all are expected to give that 8 a.m. advisory, but hey, if people are tuned into Live Now from Fox, they got it about 10 minutes sooner. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. You and your team have a great weekend.
Thank you.
And as we continue to follow the very latest, again, sharing this with you, the latest from the National Hurricane Center on this Friday morning. This, as we are tracking Tropical Storm Erin as it nears hurricane status. You can definitely rely on Live Now from Fox for the latest developments as we are following this. Of course, as Jamie did mention, there are concerns of rip currents. There are concerns about what this could mean for flooding along the East coastline. So make sure you're staying tuned to Live Now from Fox.
All right. And as you guys know, that coastline is definitely going to be pulling a rip current the entire time there. So beware of that. All right, we're going to go ahead and move into the next and one of the last ordeals here. We have CHP officers pull pursuit suspect from care after chase. So this is over there somewhere in California. Let's go ahead and bring this up. All right.
California Highway Patrol was too slow, actually, to pit him. The California Highway Patrol got behind him trying to do that rear-end push, but actually was just kind of pushing the car. The doors popped open. You might have seen that, and then they bump up onto the curb. Not sure if the car has failed now because he's up on that curb like that, but California Highway Patrol, weapons out. This is a dangerous situation. If that car is still able, he could back up. He could be using that car as a weapon, but those officers, they all have their weapons out. This is not a fun type of situation.
Yes, real quick, we got 37 of you guys in here. We got to make sure you guys hit that like button, man. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free. I know it's very laborious, but let's get them likes up. You know what I mean? Shit.
at all. That driver still in the vehicle. It looked like maybe he was going to get out for a moment or two, but now kind of the doors are closed and he's being a little bit defiant. Let's take a bigger look at what's going on out here, where this is exactly. Like I said, corner of La Cienega, and this is going to be in the Palms area. It's, you know, it's coming up as La Cienega and La Cienega. If you know this area out here, this is where that sweeping turn is, right by the 10 freeway. Officers, this is from the California Highway Patrol.
So this is this morning, by the way. 1 hour ago, because it's still early over there.
They got to get this guy out safely. That's what the issue is going to be. You're going to see a lot of movement inside the car. That's not what officers want to see. They don't want to see that at all. They want to see this person being calm, not reaching around, because they don't know. Oh, it looks like they're using some pellets gun.
Yeah, this guy over here on the left part of basically the driver's side of this patrol car, this guy just shot off. Let's go ahead and bring that back a little bit and see what he does here.
Some pellets guns. They want to see this person being calm, not reaching around, because they don't know.
It
looks like they're using some pellets guns or possibly pepper balls on the other side. I don't know if we can get Skyfox to move over to the passenger side right there. Looks like they broke the window, maybe just to help make some kind of communication with that suspect. But you can see that movement inside the car, that one officer right there.
Hell yeah, brother Steve Posey. I appreciate you on that.
Hoping that that's what that was some sort of pepper balls or something to try to break the window. We did see a lot of smoke. Yeah, you can see the holes right there. Those were that was going to be the.
Yep, I think you're right about that, Papa Penguin. Pepper balls in the back to get them flushed out or something like that.
The pepper balls. That's what they were using. They basically, it's an irritant. They got that inside the car now. The door's still not open, but you can see the officers. They are taking this very, very seriously.
Oh, shit.
City ASAP. And again, to end out here in the Palms area. But again, wild pursuit. And then at the end, just getting a little bit more crazy, more and more the entire time at the end. Erratic driving right before we went live, and you can see officers now making an approach, kind of cleaning out the window as it would be, just so that they can get a better look at that
shield homie
suspect, and also maybe they can communicate with him a little bit better. There we go.
There he
goes.
goes.
The driver's side. Yep.
It's interesting. They don't always do
Sorry,
this.
Brooke.
Sometimes they'll just keep their distance and try to negotiate with the person, but it seems like they're being pretty aggressive and getting into the car and pulling this guy out.
Yeah. You know, I think every law enforcement officer department has a little bit of a different policy, and California Highway Patrol, you know, I got to give them props. They're a little bit more aggressive, especially at the ending. They're not the tender white glove type of, hey, let's talk this out. You can see it. You saw it happen right now. They just went in. They got this guy into custody. They had reason to believe they didn't have any weapons, and apparently they are correct. You can see that suspect on the ground now in cuffs. And again, this coming to an end. Thank goodness nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple bruises on that suspect. But again, this all started with an illegal U-turn, as we understand it.
What? It started over an illegal U-turn?
This could have been all avoided, but right now...
See, this is what happens. I don't care what color, creed, religion. I don't care what the fuck you're a part of. It is on you and how you handle and react to situations that the police are only going to react to you. You know what I mean? And if you don't abide by what they're asking you to do, you're going to get the fucking treatment. So I actually saw a really radical video yesterday on social media. This white dude getting worked. The full-on business. Fucked him up. Knees to the rib cage, and he wasn't, it was a big ordeal. But it's like, listen, you not obeying, but still being kind or whatever, like that, it doesn't work that way. It's still resisting. It's still a problem. And so anyways, let's go ahead and see if we have any updates here aside from that highway patrol. We do. Let's go ahead. We have Alaska governor says he thinks President Trump and Putin will have a pretty good talk, in quotes. So let me go ahead and pop this up for you guys here in a second. Just getting it all ready here because it was brand new news that just came out. Let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys. This came out 22 minutes ago.
It is now 10 o'clock on the dot over on the East Coast and 7 o'clock on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and I'm here for the next several hours to bring you all of your top stories, live events, and breaking news from across.
It's definitely time to do some Ratchet 304 shit. It doesn't have to be pop balloon shit, but it's got to be some Ratchet 304 shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's time.
The country and across the world. I do want to get to our big story right now as you take a live look out of Anchorage, Alaska. President Trump in the air aboard Air Force One en route to his historic face-to-face meeting with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Trump does have a goal of ending the years-long war with Ukraine and says this will lay the groundwork for all of that. The president adding he will know within just minutes whether this will be a good or bad meeting and if Putin is serious about a peace deal. The meeting between the two leaders as of now is set for 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. That would be 11:30 a.m. local time if my conversion there is correct. Alaska's Governor Mike Dunleavy joining us now live ahead of that chat here. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us this morning.
It's great to be on, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Busy day today. Yeah, and first off, because we know...
So this is the Alaska governor, you know.
This
awesome.
is a very busy day. Can you kind of break down your thoughts as you heard that Anchorage, Alaska was going to be used for these talks?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. We're the most strategic state in the country. Our location on the globe being about 7 hours from Moscow by air, about 6 hours from Washington, D.C. by air. So it makes sense to have it here. We are the Arctic state for America. We are the North Pacific and Western Pacific state for America. And again, President Trump really loves Alaska. President Trump, we have an executive order that he put together for the state of Alaska, is really focused on our natural resources, including our natural gas pipeline.
Of course.
That's moving.
That's the biggest bummer that Russia has with Alaska. I mean, they know as well that they legally sold Alaska to us, but that was one of the worst sells to them, one of the best sells to us, buys. So yeah, because it's fully, I mean, the resources in Alaska is just insane. It's awesome and a fantastic contribute to the United States.
So makes a lot of sense to have it here. We're looking forward to hosting President Trump, and hopefully some good things come out of these discussions.
What can you tell me about the base where this is going to be held? Again, you can see that live image right there on the left-hand side of your screen and why that was chosen specifically.
Well, it's in Anchorage. The base is in Anchorage, our largest city. It's a well-staffed, well-maintained base. Alaska really is the true fort for North America. Our assets here are not really just for training. They're actually for deployment. We live in a tough neighborhood. Russia's only 2.5 miles between an American island and a Russian island, 50 miles between the mainland.
Yeah, I mean, there's times that you can actually walk across that ice that connects between, well, the water that freezes over between Alaska and Russia. There are times that freezes up and you can walk all the way across it. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
We are under the North Korean missile umbrella. The Chinese ply our waters with warships. So we're in a dangerous neighborhood, but we have a robust military capability. And I have to say, most Alaskans sleep well at night knowing that our military is here.
What are the main goals overall of these discussions here between Trump and Putin? And what role is Alaska overall playing in facilitating that discussion?
Well, we've worked with the White House and their ground team that got up here on Saturday. And we've been working with them ever since to secure a locale. Makes sense to have it on the base. The base is secure. The base has a lot of space for meetings, a lot of space for staff. The airport's right there with the military base. And so all of it makes sense to have it here. We have the resources. We have the assets to assist the president with this trip. And, you know, again, I think we're all curious as to how this goes. I think the president, as he says, will find out very quickly whether Putin is serious or not. And that'll set the stage for future meetings and future actions.
As far as security and logistics, that's, of course, a big question whenever you have President Trump visiting, but then you're also talking about Russian President Vladimir Putin. So what sort of security and logistics went into all of this for folks there in Alaska?
You know, is the announcement?
Nah, there's no way that he would say it still belongs to Russia. He knows he can't. That it would be totally debunked by, you know, Trump. He would come out and be like, no, here's the agreement, you know, whatever.
didn't give people much time to prepare.
I'll look
but
into
I gotta
that
say,
though,
the White House
Hardwire.
staff has been great. They really check things out. And again, being on a military base, it's secure to begin with, but now there's a lot of security that has come up from Washington. Our assets, as far as our state troopers and others in Alaska, are helping as well. And so I don't anticipate any incidents. I anticipate the ability for President Trump and Putin to sit down and talk uninterrupted, no disruptions. I think they're going to have a pretty good talk. Again, where it leads to, we're going to have to find out. But I really believe President Trump is sincere in stopping this war. However, it has to be on just terms. I think everyone agrees with that. So this is a beginning. Hopefully it leads to an end of this war.
What has the reaction been from the majority of folks there in Alaska about this visit from President Trump and Putin and all of that happening there, as you mentioned, in Anchorage?
Yeah, I think the vast majority of Alaskans welcome President Trump here, welcome this summit here. Again, Alaska is the international state.
At this point, why would Putin really want Alaska back? Only, well, the true answer to that would be resources, of course. It's resource rich like a motherfucker. But I get what you're saying. I mean, trust me, Putin knows that it belongs to the United States now, and he would wage war trying to take over Alaska. I mean, obviously, and Putin don't want that smoke from us. I promise that, and he knows that.
Honest with you, in our location,
and that's why he respects
we deal with
Trump and the strength that we have. I mean, Putin wouldn't be doing this meeting in Alaska if he didn't respect it.
All the time, we deal with the Arctic all the time, and so we're very used to our neighbors. But at the same time, Alaskans love it when the president comes up here. And the president, he's been up here frequently. When he's going to Asia, he stops at the same base to refuel. He did that several times his first term. He's back here again. I anticipate over the next 3.5 years, he'll be up in Alaska a lot. And again,
the big thing up there is drinking, for damn sure, Steve. Damn straight.
President Trump has a real affinity for our great state. And being the only state with an executive order that he issued, I think makes all of us proud that he's coming up here.
Does this kind of give maybe some more exposure to Alaska and where it does stand kind of on the global stage when you talk about security, first of all, but also just economic and where Alaska does sit on the map?
Yes, certainly. I mean, I am sure the name Alaska is being Googled a lot here the last week, and rightfully so. We're we're America's biggest state. We're 2.5 times the size of Texas. We're a resource storehouse. We have the only oil giant in North America at Prudhoe Bay, large gas reserves. We have the second busiest cargo airport in the United States, and the third busiest in the entire world is here in Anchorage, Alaska, the Ted Stevens International Airport. So there's a lot of superlatives, we can rattle off about Alaska, and all of them are true. I mean, this is a great state. It's got a lot going for it. And again, we're proud to have the president up here. We all look forward to seeing what comes out of this discussion. But yeah, I would invite people that want to visit a very unique state, a very unique place to come up and visit Alaska. But Alaskans are proud of their state. It's a very unique, terrific
awesome
place to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, he predicts that it's gonna be a good talk that they have. I'm sure behind the scenes when they do actually have this conversation and sit down, that's probably happening right now. Who knows? I mean, I haven't seen any of the information about Putin landing, and I haven't seen any of that. But I'm sure it has happened. But maybe it hasn't. Maybe it happens later on this afternoon or whatever the case is. I don't know. So I'm just reporting as I go, and I appreciate your guys' support there. So real quick, we're going to go ahead and find somebody to raid real quick. I think that is always appropriate. We got to send the love to somebody, right? But I can't thank you guys enough for making these very shows possible, man. I'm very grateful and thankful. Guys, we're going to send you guys over to Black Dragon. He is live right now, so we'll go ahead and send you guys over there. Let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. Always appreciate that. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow morning for not the World's Madness, but for 304 Madness and members only. It's going to be a great ass time. Hopefully you guys join up, and I can't wait to see you guys there. For the people that are not members, we'll see you guys back Monday morning, because that is I got to have my one day off of Sunday, So we'll be back Monday morning for you guys and the reporting of all the World's Madness, Monday through Friday. That's what we do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, always appreciate it. Thank you guys for hitting that like button as well on the way out. I very much appreciate that. All right, much love, honor, and respect to everybody. God bless everyone. Be safe out there. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges.